The hardest worker in the room is almost never the most powerful person in it. Read that again. The one grinding 18 hours. The one answering every email. The one drowning in tasks and wearing exhaustion like a medal. That person is not winning. That person is a tool being used by someone who understood something they never will. Robert Greene saw it years ago. The prince who works the hardest governs the worst. There is a form of strategic inaction so potent, so counterintuitive that the moment you master it, you will outmaneuver people who outwork you 10 to 1, and they will never understand how you did it. But this is not about laziness. This is about something far more dangerous. Let me show you. There is a disease spreading through the modern world, and it has a name no one dares to criticize. Hustle culture. The glorification of being busy, the worship of exhaustion. You post the 4 a.m. alarm, you brag about skipping meals. You tell people you slept 3 hours like it's a war wound, and somewhere deep inside, you believe this suffering is proof that you deserve success. It is not. It is proof that you have no strategy. Robert Greene wrote about a specific kind of ruler, the one who involves himself in every minor dispute, who personally oversees every decision, who makes himself indispensable to every situation. This ruler feels powerful. He feels needed. He feels in control. He is none of these things. He is a bottleneck. He is fragile. Remove him and the kingdom collapses. Not because he held it together, because he never built it to stand without him. Now look at the other kind. The prince who appears almost idle, who delegates ruthlessly, who shows up only when the moment is decisive. People whisper about him. What does he even do? They resent his calm. They mock his absence from the trenches, and then the crisis hits. And while the busy ruler is drowning in his own complexity, the calm one makes a single move. One calculated strike and the entire board shifts. That is not luck. That is architecture. Greg McKeown calls it the effortless state. The point where you stop asking, how can I do more, and start asking what if the right thing was actually easy? Not because it requires no skill, but because you removed every obstacle between you and the precise action that matters. Most people are addicted to effort because effort feels like progress. It triggers the same reward centers as actual achievement. Your brain cannot tell the difference between being productive and feeling productive. So you stay busy, you stay exhausted, you stay poor. The person above you, the one making 3 decisions a week while you make 300, they understood something you are about to learn. Effort is noise. Precision is power. 216 BC, the Roman Republic is bleeding. Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian general, has just annihilated Rome's legions at the Battle of Cannae. 70,000 Roman soldiers dead in a single afternoon. The greatest military disaster Rome had ever suffered. The Senate is hysterical. Generals are demanding a counterattack. The people want revenge. Blood for blood. Pride demands it. And into this chaos walks one man who proposes the most insulting strategy imaginable. Do nothing. His name was Quintus Fabius Maximus, and his plan was simple. Do not fight Hannibal. Do not engage him. Do not give him the pitched battle he is designed to win. Instead, follow him, shadow him, cut his supply lines, burn the crops he would forage, harass his flanks with small raids, and wait. Rome hated him for it. They called him the delayer. It was meant as an insult. Senators accused him of cowardice. Soldiers questioned his manhood. The public mocked him in the streets. Every instinct in the Roman psyche screamed for action, for confrontation, for the glory of direct combat. Fabius ignored all of it. He understood something that Hannibal's other opponents did not. Hannibal was a genius of engagement. His entire strategy depended on Rome doing the obvious thing, attacking, meeting him in open battle, giving him the stage where his tactical brilliance could operate. By refusing to play, Fabius removed the stage entirely. Hannibal wandered Italy for years, winning skirmishes that meant nothing, burning fields that were already scorched. His army weakened, his allies wavered, his supply chain rotted. He won every battle and lost the war, because the war was never about battles, it was about endurance. And the man who did nothing outlasted the greatest military mind of the ancient world. History eventually vindicated Fabius. The Romans realized that his inaction was the most aggressive strategy of all. They transformed the delayer from an insult into a title of honor. But here is the part no one teaches you. Fabius did not do nothing. He did the hardest thing a human being can do under pressure. He resisted the urge to act. He sat with the discomfort of appearing weak while executing a strategy that required more discipline than any charge into battle. This is the art Robert Greene encoded into his work. The ability to recognize when action is the enemy, when doing something, anything, is just a way to soothe your anxiety rather than solve your problem. Sun Tzu wrote it plainly. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. But most people read that line, nod, and then immediately go fight because restraint is painful. Restraint doesn't photograph well. Restraint doesn't get likes. And restraint is exactly why it works. There is a concept buried inside Robert Greene's philosophy that most modern readers miss. Economy of motion, economy of force. The ruthless elimination of every action that does not serve the final objective. Think of a surgeon. A surgeon does not make 50 cuts when 3 will do. A surgeon does not swing the scalpel with passion. Every incision is measured. Every movement is stripped of excess. The surgery is defined not by how little was done, but by how little was necessary. Now think about your life. How many of your daily actions are surgical? And how many are just movement? Emails that didn't need sending. Meetings that produced nothing. Arguments you entered because your ego couldn't tolerate silence. Decisions you made because you felt pressure to appear decisive. Most people are not exhausted from meaningful work. They are exhausted from unnecessary motion. Cal Newport studied the habits of some of the world's most productive people and found something paradoxical. They worked fewer hours than their peers, not because they were lazy, but because they eliminated everything that was not essential. They compressed their output into focused, deliberate blocks of deep work that produced more in 4 hours than most people achieve in 12. The 48 Laws of Power describes this as Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. But that law is usually misunderstood as simply hiding your work. That is the surface interpretation. The deeper meaning is to structure your life so intelligently that the work itself becomes minimal. Not minimal in impact, minimal in waste. Tim Ferriss built an entire philosophy around this principle. He asked a question most people are terrified to ask. What if 80% of what I'm doing is completely useless? What if only 20% of my effort creates meaningful results? When he tested it, the numbers were even worse. Closer to 95/5. 95% of his activity generated almost nothing. 5% generated almost everything. He didn't work harder. He amputated. He cut clients that consumed energy but produced no revenue. He stopped attending events that felt productive but created zero outcomes. He automated and delegated everything that didn't require his specific judgment, and his income increased while his work hours collapsed. This is not fantasy. This is surgical economics applied to a life. But most people will never do it because cutting feels like losing. It feels irresponsible. It feels like cheating. Your identity has been welded to effort. You were taught that suffering is the price of success, and that anyone who succeeds without visible suffering must be a fraud. That belief is the chain, and the people above you broke it a long time ago. Japan, late 1500s. 3 men wanted to unify a nation. torn apart by civil war. Their names were Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. There is a famous Japanese riddle about them. If a bird won't sing, what do you do? Nobunaga says, kill it. He was the conqueror, brilliant, brutal, relentless. He unified Japan through sheer force, and then he was assassinated by one of his own generals. His empire collapsed overnight. Hideyoshi says, make it sing. He was the persuader, the diplomat. He rebuilt what Nobunaga started using charm, alliances, and political genius. But when he died, his dynasty barely survived him. His son was overthrown within years. Tokugawa says, wait for it to sing. And that is exactly what he did. Tokugawa Ieyasu waited for decades while stronger men fought, conquered, rose, and fell. He conserved his forces. He avoided unnecessary wars. He let ambitious men exhaust themselves against each other. And when the dust settled, Tokugawa was the last one standing. Not the strongest, not the most brilliant, the most patient. He established the Tokugawa shogunate, which lasted over 250 years, the longest era of peace in Japanese history, built by a man whose greatest weapon was restraint. This is what Annie Duke calls the discipline of the fold. In poker, the amateur plays every hand because they cannot tolerate inaction. Folding feels like losing, so they chase bad odds and destroy themselves through volume. The professional folds again and again and again. They sit quietly, they observe, they wait, and when the right hand finally appears, they strike with precision the amateur never could. The amateur played more, the professional won more, because victory was never about frequency of action. It was about quality of selection. You are playing every hand. You are saying yes to every meeting, every project, every request, every emotional confrontation. You are spreading yourself across 100 mediocre commitments, because saying no feels like missing out. And the person who keeps beating you, they said no 99 times and yes once to the thing that mattered. That single yes carried the weight of 99 deliberate refusals behind it. That is why it landed like a cannon shot while your 100 yeses sounded like static. There is a pattern you will notice once you start looking for it. The most powerful people in any organization are rarely the ones doing the most visible work. The CEO is not on the factory floor. The general is not loading rifles. The architect is not laying bricks. And yet somehow the person laying bricks believes they are more important than the architect because they are sweating. This is the great delusion of effort. The belief that physical output equals value. That being seen working is the same as producing results. It is not. It has never been. Robert Greene observed this in the courts of power. The advisors who rushed from room to room, carrying documents and looking perpetually overwhelmed were servants. The advisor who sat quietly, spoke rarely, and delivered one sentence that redirected an entire strategy held more power than every frantic bureaucrat combined. Because power does not flow toward activity. Power flows toward decision. One decision can erase 1,000 unnecessary tasks. One strategic no can save more resources than a year of optimized yeses. One well-timed absence can communicate more authority than 100 appearances. But you have been trained to fear inactivity. You check your email 40 times a day, not because anything urgent exists, but because checking feels like control. You attend meetings that produce nothing because absence might make you appear uncommitted. You fill your calendar because empty space triggers guilt. That guilt was manufactured by a system that profits from your busyness. The system does not reward efficiency. It rewards compliance. And the moment you see that clearly, you stop worshipping effort and start protecting precision. There is a difference between passivity and coiled potential. Most people confuse them. Passivity is the man on the couch who has surrendered. He does nothing because he has given up. His stillness is decay. Coiled potential is the spring compressed to its limit. It does nothing yet, but when it releases, the energy is devastating. Its stillness is storage. The art of doing nothing is not about becoming passive. It is about becoming a loaded spring. Every moment you spend in strategic inaction, you are accumulating. You are watching patterns that busy people miss. You are conserving energy that exhausted people have already spent. You are clarifying your position while distracted people are still scrambling to find theirs. There is a concept in physics called potential energy. A boulder sitting at the top of a cliff has done nothing. It has moved nowhere. It has produced no visible result, but the energy stored in its position is catastrophic. One push and it reshapes the landscape below. Your restraint is the cliff. Your clarity is the boulder. And your moment of action, when it finally comes, will carry the accumulated force of every temptation you resisted, every distraction you refused, every impulsive move you declined to make. This is what Robert Greene meant when he described the strategist who waits for fortune to turn, not waiting passively like a leaf in the wind, waiting like a predator in tall grass. Still, invisible, precise, and then one movement that changes everything. Most people fire 100 bullets into the dark and hope one hits. You wait until you can see the target clearly. Then you fire once. That single shot will be worth more than their entire magazine. Here is something nobody talks about. Decision fatigue is not just tiredness. It is erosion of judgment. Every decision you make throughout the day draws from the same cognitive reservoir. What to eat, what to wear, how to respond to that text, whether to take that call. Each one feels insignificant. Each one costs something. By the afternoon, your decision-making capacity is compromised. Not slightly, substantially. Studies on judges found that parole decisions made in the morning were dramatically more favorable than those made later in the day. Same judges, same types of cases, different outcomes because the cognitive fuel was gone. Now think about your life. You make hundreds of decisions every day. Tiny commitments, small yeses, micro expenditures of judgment that leave you mentally depleted before the moment that actually matters arrives. The person practicing the art of nothing has eliminated most of those decisions. They have designed their environment so trivial choices are automated or removed entirely. They stripped life down to a small number of high-leverage decisions that receive the full force of their mind. This is not laziness. This is resource management at the level of thought. Robert Greene advised leaders to delegate everything that could be delegated, not because delegation was noble, but because a ruler who wastes judgment on trivialities has nothing left. When the enemy arrives at the gate, your gate has enemies approaching and you are too exhausted to see them because you spent the morning arguing about details nobody will remember. Kill the trivial, protect the essential. Your clarity is a non-renewable resource. Every hour wasted in reactive busyness is an hour stolen from the one decision that could change your entire trajectory. You have been told that momentum is everything, that once you start, you must never stop, that consistency is king, that any pause is a step backward. This is partially true and mostly dangerous. Momentum is valuable when it is directed. Momentum without direction is a car with no steering wheel. It moves, it feels powerful, it kills you. There are seasons where the correct move is acceleration, where the opening exists and you must charge through it before it closes. But there are also seasons where the correct move is absolute stillness, where emotions are running hot, where every voice around you is screaming, do something, and the only intelligent response is to do nothing. Robert Greene studied rulers who lost power not through weakness but through restlessness. Leaders who could not tolerate quiet periods, who created unnecessary conflicts just to feel relevant, who destroyed stability because stability bored them. They ruined themselves with their own energy. The Japanese have a concept called ma, the negative space between notes in music, the empty room in architecture, the breath between words. Ma is not emptiness. It is the thing that gives everything else meaning. Without the pause, music becomes noise. Without empty space, a room becomes a prison. Without silence, words lose power. Your life needs ma. It needs the strategic pause, the deliberate gap, the courage to stop producing and start perceiving. Because in that pause, you begin to notice what frantic people never see. The pattern behind the chaos, the opportunity hidden in plain sight, the move everyone else missed because they were too busy reacting. The person who masters the pause does not fall behind. They discover the shortcut the runners overlooked. And while everyone else is collapsing from exhaustion, the one who paused is already standing at the finish line, calm, clear, and undefeated. So, what does all of this mean for you right now, tonight, tomorrow morning? It means you need to conduct an audit of your life with surgical honesty. Look at your calendar. How many items on it will matter in 6 months? Be honest. Most of them are rituals of perceived productivity. Meetings that produce minutes but no outcomes. Tasks that make you feel dutiful but move nothing forward. Social obligations that drain you but you attend because guilt feels cheaper than confrontation. Cut them, not gradually. Now look at your commitments. How many did you say yes to because you were afraid no would make you look lazy, uncommitted, or difficult? Every one of those yeses is a leak in your power. Every one of them dilutes the force you could bring to the one thing that actually matters. Find the one thing, the single lever that if pulled with full force would make most of your other activities irrelevant. It exists. You probably already know what it is. You have been avoiding it because it is harder than busy work. It requires thought. It requires courage. It requires the terrifying realization that most of what you have been doing was theater. Then do that one thing, not with more hours, with more depth, with the full undivided weight of a mind that is no longer bleeding energy in 40 directions. Robert Greene did not write for busy people. He wrote for effective people, and effectiveness has never been measured by sweat. It is measured by outcome per unit of effort. The ruler who achieves peace through one strategic alliance is more powerful than the ruler who achieves it through 10 years of war. The cost is lower. The result is identical. The difference is intelligence. You have been fighting wars that could have been solved with one difficult conversation, grinding through problems that could have disappeared with one brave decision, filling your days with motion because stillness forced you to confront a question you did not want to answer. Am I busy or am I effective? Sit with that question. It will burn. Let it. Because on the other side of that burn is a version of you that works less, produces more, and moves through the world with a calm that unsettles every hustler in the room. A version of you people cannot figure out. How does he have so much time? How is he so calm? How does he keep winning while everyone else is drowning? The answer is elegant and brutal. He stopped doing what didn't matter, and he had the nerve to do it before anyone gave him permission. That is the art Robert Greene encoded. That is what Fabius practiced in the hills above Hannibal's army. That is what Tokugawa Ieyasu understood while stronger empires burned around him. That is what every surgeon, every grandmaster, every apex strategist understands in their bones. The victory is not in the swing. It is in the selection of when to swing. Everything else is wasted motion disguised as ambition. Kill the waste. Sharpen the blade. And when you finally move, move once, move precisely, and let the world wonder how you made it look so easy. Because that is the final secret. The effort was never supposed to be visible. The effort was supposed to disappear inside the result. And when it does, they will not call you lazy. They will call you inevitable. If you are still here after all of this, you already think differently than most people. Subscribe if you haven't.